You know what? Honestly, you're probably right. Unfortunately, you're probably right. I do expect to change, though. Given that the fact they were running Phoenix previously, and I don't know that Phoenix was ever in the meta to fall out of it, but...
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was... It feels like an eternity ago, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Phoenix here was in the hands of Ye. It was back in the first week, I think, during kickoff.
What happened to your voice just now? It changed.
Well, no, this is Ender. There was Qbert before. Yeah, we said we didn't want to bias cast, so we had to kick Qbert off, unfortunately. But he's got a lot of other work to do, right? With the social media team and all that stuff.
Very busy Qbert.
New comp.
Okay, so they are going to make some adjustments. Still sticking to the double duelist, but going Jet Yoru instead.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of a necessity on this map at this point. Playing the Yoru, obviously, if the map is super large, having the teleport is great. But especially when every comp in the world has Vice in it. Being able to use the clone, to be able to break walls, being able to have the ultimate to fully clear away sites. I think this is a good pivot that I like to see out of EG.
What else do you need to see out of EG here? Given that Haven is kind of in the back of our mind here, what do you need to see differently?
Well, honestly, I just want to see them have a successful defensive half. I think this has been an issue across multiple maps, sub 50% win rate for them on the defensive side. But I do think that will be easier. I think both the Yoru and Jet are great at finding early fights, put an op in the hands of Icy on that Jet is going to be a very good look, no doubt about that. But another thing, too, is I think those two agents can sort of tag team around the map, fight together. That could be a good look for them.
They are starting off on attack here. So we'll have conversations around what the defense looks like later. But for now, EG on the attack, Jet and Tejo side by side. Spike not even in tow right now.
Yeah, just trying to scout out the situation, see maybe where that Vise is going to end up being. They're taking a bit of their sweet time.
Well, what's the rush?
I mean, I think one of the big things here, different between the Jet versus like the Neon in these double duelist comps, is you have less effective actual side execs. The Neon wall to set up Yoru TPs, the stun, of course, can be very good.
And then the dash, the slide, of
Exactly,
course.
to even catch up with your teammate on the Yoru is pretty effective. These Jet comps usually play a little bit slower. Actually, that looks like Ye's Phoenix just going for a little pop flash fight into streets. Good trade out from Icy.
Delayed as long as possible. Narrate's got really good timing, but Nature's on the turn.
And now this pinch coming into B. Sen try to fight forward in towards long.
John getting the first. Superman on the trade, though, still feeling the walls closing in.
Bring around the Rosie.
Pushed around from pillar to post off the flash. The swing is there. Zekin gets another. 2v2 now. Nature's got 12 HP. Still strikes onto the duelist.
This is awkward, though. 25 seconds left into the round. That spike still has to be recovered, and Nature is so low.
Zelsis has a classic no armor.
15 seconds.
Can he hold the line? Zelsis in a 1vx situation. He might catch a timing here. Position now given away. He's going to have to push the pace on this. He's got Nature close up and stuck! And Zelsis delivers for Sen City!
There's just no way. There is no way he's pulling that off. Going for the low HP guy first and still able to best Icy in that second fight. The momentum, it just never fades. Zelsis is out of his seat.
Classic. Clean shots out from him, man.
That's tough.
Potter's facial expressions giving away.
Nice! What are we doing? You guys are all 5 of you.
He was saying they're struggling, is what he said. That S at the beginning was struggling. You guys are struggling, all 5 of you.
Dude, you don't got to run PR for him. Like, he said what he said. It's a massacre.
Listen, it's a family-friendly show, man.
Wow. And the thing is, right, Narrate there, absolutely popping off. This is a guy that feeds so much, not just off his teammates' performances, but also his own performance, right? When he has a bad game, you know it. He rags on himself. But when he has a good game, like he just came up, like he played out of his mind on Haven.
Yeah,
over 20 kills. Yeah, just unbelievable stuff. So he's riding that wave of emotions coming into the second one.
I mean, think about, as we've watched Narrate develop, right? Even just through this year. They take you all the way back to Kickoff. And that scene, that shot that, you know, was very heavily discussed and shared around everywhere, where Nature was very obviously upset at his performance against Loud, and Kaplan was there to pick him up. from that player who is struggling backstage in tears with his own performance to that has just been a wild difference.
He is feeling himself today. There's no doubt about that. Him and the rest of the team lifting each other up. But now EG, they're going to have a bye, bouncing back here in round 3. See what they're able to do. And really, my question is, how much are they going to play of like the slower style we saw in Pistol, where Ye is still playing kind of like that Phoenix, flashing himself into angles in street, versus running some execs, especially towards the A site, which can be pretty effective there at getting past some of this Vi's util. But interestingly enough, check out B long. That's a whole lot of people.
Yeah, and also the delayed recall. I think they're so far up, they're going to know what's on the other side of this. How much longer can Superman stay alive?
Oh, that util's nasty.
Yeah, there was no way out of that. He was cooked.
Wait, guys, the spike is still in your spawn. Like, EG can't even accelerate into A. There's already a Yoru teleporting backside. They've got to go back, pick up the spike over there. Now Sentinels are rotating more players in over here. It's a 4v5.
And they still haven't dealt with the Vice util. This is, these are tough scenes. But the one benefit is that EG do have the gun advantage.
Okay,
and that's
Icy.
a kill on to Zekin. Icy starting to come alive a little bit here. Zelsis is dancing around. The Flash is trying to stay alive. Cannot at the hands of Ye. They're crumbling around him. The gun advantage in full display here.
Making me nervous on the anti-eco, but great fight forward from Icy and Ye. Will still secure the round. Now actually flipping back towards Secret, even using the drone to spot out all these SEN players coming in. Solid post-plant setup from Evil Geniuses here, and he's going to find 3 on the round. Even just getting towards that early dimensional drift is a big, big deal on the Yoru.
He's now 1 pip off of that for the next round. Narrate calling the save, cutting his losses, and living to fight another day.
All right, I may have overreacted, Doug. I'd like to issue a formal apology.
I think your concerns are were well placed in that scenario, because you're right. There was still a ton of ice util. The rotations were already coming through. I think if it wasn't, if that was equal footing as far as guns go, I don't know that goes the way it did.
I do wonder if Sentinels are going to run more of these like early active looks. Like right there,
Yeah.
okay, Soup is in a tough position. He's getting blasted away by the Teho util. But like you can get active into mid, into A main space as well. And if EG keep trying to play these slower rounds, it's going to be hard for them to speed up into the other side because of the Vi's util.
Seeing a different look here from Zelsis. A lot of the util setup B, pretty standard setup.
Ooh, it looked like Ye for a second was just going to have the shorty and play for the ult, but got a last second buy. Phantom tossed over to him. Uh-oh.
Icy in trouble. Is their health. But they don't pursue. They just get the orb in Zekin's hands. Also 1 off of his ult.
Very early Teho drone used into art. I think because Sentinels showed a few players over into A, we're worried about losing that space because their Vi's util is completely over toward the B site. It's not such an easy round for Sen to play now. The main important thing for them is they have control over the A main space. They're allowed to lose art control as long as they don't allow any pesky lurks coming down con. That's going to be John QT's job to lock that down on the Teho.
And that's exactly where he is. Understanding where the gaps may be. But Zelsis is the one who's feeling a lot of the pressure. He's a lot of damage too.
Yeah, gotta be a little careful from that position, especially with this 3-2 split coming in from EG now.
Manages to find safe passage though. Take a quick step back, and now all the pressure's on Bank. Trying to dance around his utility, and Zelsis he swings out at just the right time. Spike now on the ground, the decay not connecting. As Zelsis falls. Bang on the swing will meet a similar fate at the hands of Ye. Can the captain for Sentinels bring this one back? Stun in hand. Waiting for the right time. Off the flash.
Hey, 15 seconds left.
Not committing to it. This is getting messy as Ye gonna have to do it on his own. 10 seconds left now. The ult popped. Committing to the spike because you don't really have a choice otherwise. And so look at how the defense has been split up. They've divided their attention. Ye falls. It's all onto Icy with 29 HP. The spike ticking away. They're starting to flush him out of the corner. They know exactly where he is. Zekin gets 3 as the round goes to defense again.
Good awareness there, popping the dimensional drift. Wrapping around the other side. That clock was getting down so low. This was a strange one, because first of all, I think Zelsys making the choice to push out of that smoke, even trading 1-for-1 there, is a big deal for SEN.
Oh, it's huge.
There's just less players to guard that spike being planted. Now all of a sudden, Ye has to plant the spike. He doesn't want to do that.
Right.
He wants to be fighting.
Right, he had already gotten 3 on the round. He was in a spot where he should have been able to keep going. You're right.
For sure.
I think Zelsys swinging off of that was also, it was Bang's util that allowed that swing to feel a little more safe.
Yeah, you had Narrate's util with the haunt coming in that John spams through a smoke off the ping to get a kill. It's all those little details adding up for Sentinels.
Takes a village. And they look good right now.
Cutting through.
Early drift here to spot out maybe 1-2 players in connector, teleport into art. So full mid control gathered in terms of info, but it hasn't really forced Sentinels out of the space. Now actually leading 4 players into A.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, you're picking the wrong site. They do have guns to fight back with, though. This is a lighter eco, 2 stingers, but rifles around it. 4v4 on the site. Ye continues to light up the kill feed.
Ye so low. Any more bullets through this wall would take him down.
What is this flash? What are you doing there? Waiting for Nature to get further up. There's the flash. There's the swing. Nature strikes. Narrate dead. Zelsys and John left in a 2v4.
Zelsys has the ultimate. He's going to look to go. Spike still not planted.
Superman did not get tagged, so he had a chance to fight, but that was the only gun left. Zelsys, again, a 1v2. Falls at the hands of Derek. The second ult popped, and that's a round for EG.
Good little advert there for the EG Classic coming out of Derek. Couple kills there at the end of the round, with both Vises popping the ultis. That was a really nice play. You called it during the round, right? Ye flashing through that little window over by Church. And that fight into backside from Nature, even with just a stinger in hand. It was that active look from EG that caught Sentinels off guard.
EG Classic Masterclass.
And it was actually just an advertisement.
Is this when we say buy the bundle? Is that what we do here?
That's usually what you do.
Wow.
Buy the bundle.
We've done our job.
Least committed pitch ever.
Icy pops the blades, has a shorty to play around. Also, Derek's one off of his ult. I'm surprised they're not trying to play around some of the orbs to get that ult online.
It's a little bit shocking. I'm honestly surprised with how slow EG are playing the rounds. They really think Sentinels are going to run some fight looks against them or
some funny business.
Or lose to boredom. You know, hey,
or that.
EG haven't shown let's do something, but really it's just eating 40 seconds off the clock. Sentinels still have a good space from Zekin over in main.
I mean, they don't, yeah, what do they have? They have art?
I like Sen's idea of just like giving mid control always and just eating a minute off the clock every time.
Now you imagine they're going to speed up towards A. Bang and John has his ult.
Yeah, big retake ultis.
And they've got to know that this is where the hit's headed. I wonder if he pops it early here.
Narrate's going to need to find something. Good sees to come out from him, and now
there.
the ultimate!
Oh my gosh, they're cooked! They have nowhere to go! 3 fall at the hands of John!
Kidding me!
And Zelsys on the crunch, Ye's on the turn. Still a winnable situation for Evil Geniuses, despite all of that. Looks like a Michael Bay film.
1 enemy remaining.
13 seconds left.
And we're killing people through walls!
Out of hands. Derek has to pull off this 1v3 on his own, and time is short. No way to get through that.
Narrate just finessed this team. That was crazy.
And we call it, I mean, we saw it coming. Time was short. We saw he had his ult. As soon as that suck came out, it was cooked.
Can we see it again, please? Here it comes. So early haunt, repositions, and then goes for this jump. Okay, yeah, the C's lands on minimap.
30 seconds left.
But that is crazy. And then he gets spam kill through this wall after that too.
A gorgeous display of utility there. Into the next we go. A light buy for the attacking side. 2 stingers.
It's finally time to fight into this space faster. 10 seconds, and we already have what took us 60 in the last round.
Yeah, but not much more, to be honest.
Yeah, it's because Sentinels are always falling out of this space early.
Yeah.
Sort of inviting EG in and then bundling up backside A. Making it a real chore for EG to actually get back in there.
Ult in the hands of Derek. Remember in the previous map, they invested 2 ults in an eco and it went horribly. Do they choose to invest here?
Well, EG can just plant the spike and fall into art control. Because Sentinels don't have anyone really coming in through mid, this makes playing the post plant relatively easy.
Yeah.
I think EG could actually look for some ults if Sentinels waste any more time.
Yeah, I think at this point they have an advantage. It doesn't feel as blase-blah as it did before. Derek with the lighter in hand. Ult now popped. Narrate's gotten it to half. I don't know, he will survive. And they've done a lot of the work here already. It's gotten to half. And now the Cosmic Divide behind it. They can stick this. The only person who's able to get info is Derek. Now Superman getting a little bit closer. Icy now falls. The investment again of the ult just not paying off.
And Super doesn't even get a gun at the end of it too.
The ult from Bang was perfect.
Yeah. Hey, that's really all you can say there. Sentinels countered off, EG trying to play off-site with the tail ult themselves. Yeah, they've got plenty of stall, but I think if EG wanted to play that round, they also needed to throw their Astro Wall into the mix.
Or
Sort of cut down the sight lines when you've got the stingers, right?
Yeah, or fight in front of the wall. I think the wall, I mean, it had already gotten to half too. They were very well set up. Evil Geniuses back on a gun round.
Evil Geniuses basically always playing this A-art split, scouting it out early on, but they haven't found anything. I think things EG need to actually challenge is they need to deal with this player that's jumps peeking down here. Right now it's Narrate, but previously it's been Zelsis. They need to put more pressure on A to maybe even pull this Tejo over so that they can get some kind of alert going down. Or you can just walk into a site and see if you want to fight.
Brother, there's so much utility on A.
Need that back.
You can barely see it.
That's the thing, though. Because they see Zelsis A, that's actually big news for EG, because Zelsis has been B-site for the last 4 rounds in a row, I think.
And now they're rotating back, but it's not Zelsis who's there. It's Zekin.
No teleport setup for him to dodge away with right now, but as soon as some present goes in, you'd expect him to throw that back.
Yeah, he's got to know that the heat is coming.
There it is.
There's the TP now set up.
We're down to 35 seconds again, Doug. We still have Dimensional Drift to stall. Narrate can throw out the ultimate to stop them from getting onto the site.
They're burning the candle at both ends.
How long are we going to take, EG?
There's the first bit of delay that you were mentioning. The Nightfall now through. Narrate staying alive. They have gotten a lot of control of the site, though. Nature's in a very good spot to play spoiler. Meanwhile, Ye's joining in on the fun. John not able to settle the shot. Sets 3 for the Duelist. And again, better late than never. Just in the nick of time, they managed to get the spike down.
These round wins, though, it's always kind of Ye finding just 3 on the late entry.
Yeah.
And hey, if he can keep finding those, that's going to be great news for EG.
But what happens when he can't?
That is the question.
He's been very good. He's been the only real thing to speak of for Evil Geniuses. And if he keeps hitting, then sure, he keeps hitting, and they're going to be able to play around it, but that's a large if.
Well, I think the hope now for EG should be, well, maybe they can start cycling their ults together.
Sure.
Get some of these more exec looks working for themselves. This slow play, I mean, if Potter's going to call a timeout, you'd expect them to deal with how Sentinel's been playing so passively in a much different way. But now Ye's got Dimensional Drift, you've got the Astro Wall too, so that can really simplify the rounds and often just turn it into post-plant situations.
Yeah, I can't imagine they make a change here on how they want to approach this. At least on the attacking side.
Spike down B.
That was nice.
10 seconds left.
Let's go, boys. 1 round at a time, baby. You hear how quiet they are right now? You hear how quiet they are? Let's get this shit up.
Oh, yeah, you've poked the bear.
Unleashed the beast. Sentinels are going to fight for mid-space. Look at this. Doubled up in art, doubled up in street. Because it's been so many passive looks now trying to catch EG off guard.
Zekin's ready with a flash, and you've got Narrate who's calling the go.
Yeah, Narrate will see the first player, then you pop the flash, then maybe you double walk out a street too.
Yeah, it's going to be a crunch across the middle of the map. There's going to be a lot here on Nature to hold the flat out from double doors.
Ooh, maybe EG read this though, with the drone in A main spotting nothing.
Or they just take the fight out. I like that. The flash to Salvo's through, kills traded. But Nature somehow, we called him, he's going to have to be the one to deal with a lot of the aggression, and he does.
Sentinels now tripled up in street, A side open, B side open. But EG still have to find their way through this. Supa, the great kill for Evil Geniuses.
Doubled up, tripled up. Brother, what? How does, I mean, he handles that beautifully.
I think even in some losses for EG, Nature's been very calm. Whether it's post-plant situations, when there's a lot of attention being thrown his way on the defensive side. It's usually a guy that can step up more often than not. In a year where EG have been kind of struggling to find that consistent performer.
They may have found it. The two remaining members on the side of Sentinels are they going to make a run at this? I mean, you've got the salvos you have to deal with. I don't really see a way in.
Yeah, Sen's money isn't too hot either.
No.
You're definitely going to want to keep these guns alive. Taking them out of EG's hands not so meaningful when you look at the numbers on the screen. So a very good round from EG. They answer, and you think about it, how many times, okay, well, Nature's going to fall down. You think about how many times EG slow played mid and didn't end up finding anything because Sentinels were playing so passively. Finally, they're actually rewarded for that. Maybe see a little bit more of the method to it for EG.
How'd you say it earlier? Losing to boredom?
Yeah.
And just choosing to go?
Yeah, you sort of bore yourself to death.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make a play. Yeah, Cap's like, why did we fight the mid?
Yeah,
they're
we have just
losing
waited?
the clock every round. What are we doing? No, I honestly don't mind the look from Sentinels, right? After so many rounds showing the same thing, mixing it up, especially when it's like on a trap play like that. You're not overplaying your hand. Although, you did notice, right, that drone goes into A main after 40 seconds, and Sentinels do overfight. It no longer was the trap play, and that's where EG's good anti-protocols were put in place. How'd Kubert get from up here to back in the room with Cap?
I was casting with him at the beginning of the map. I don't really know.
Do you think Kubert could be cheating? Because, like, if he's watching from up here, he can see, like, what EG are doing every round. And then he can go back into the back room and give Cap that information? That's got to be a problem, Doug.
I think Kubert's much more concerned with being like a mental health, like a comfort help right now. Kaplan's clutching onto him as dearly as he can.
Yeah, I mean, look, you pet the Kubert, and all of a sudden, a couple of round losses, you feel better if you're the coach. But I feel like you're discounting the brain behind Kubert. He's got a big head.
Oh, okay, well, all right.
That's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Let's not make fun of
To be
Kubert.
clear.
See, now you've upset the crowd.
There's a lot of gray matter in there.
Look at what you've done. All right, what is the adjustment here? Zekin has his ult. Light armor and then a regen armor on Celsius. But they're investing into this.
Supa's not going to play in the corner again, right?
No, surely not, right? Right. Okay.
Well, this forces EG to accelerate into the site because Sentinels have a big flank working.
Yay.
Yay?
Narrate. Clotheslines him.
And Ye just didn't have his gun out. The knife was primed. Now Celsius ratting inside of the smoke, can't get the job done.
I see there to strike again. It's
Oh my
narrate.
God!
What in the world was that?
That's just not okay.
The fact that he didn't leave his seat is more concerning than anything else. I mean, that response was cold.
The first kill is silliness. Here, 2 kills, and then, oh yeah, I see 2 bullets come at me through the smoke.
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
What was he doing with his hand there? One can only wonder.
7 and 5 for him.
Another quick fight.
Yeah, they're going to try to continue to fight for this A main space, and EG have done a... Oh, he's back behind the pillar again.
This time it's only one guy running at him.
Surely you don't die the 3rd time here, right?
Might not even come into play. Zekin's playing a little bit more reserved than previous.
Yeah,
Interesting.
But if Prius misses that kill, we're going to have a problem.
Can't call him out before it even happens. Give the man a chance.
A lot of A main pressure here from the attack. There's no art lurk or anything like that. They drop the Cosmic Divide.
Center up in front of the wall, though.
It's just
Hold on.
a couple. John's the first to fall. Bang on the swing, gets his 1, but that's all it's going to be. Left to fight with lighter weaponry, and he cannot convert. Nature gets the spike down.
Superman's so far away from the fight, though. He's all the way back in their spawn.
Yeah. Concerned about a mid lurk, I guess. This fight here is big. Oh, Nature turned at just the wrong time. And all of a sudden, what looked like an impossible way to work back into the site has become a gaping wound.
Pulling them in.
And Sentinels are pressing it. They're making it hurt. Superman is going to arrive over at the site, but it's going to be too little too late.
Oh, they're all looking the wrong way, though.
He's gotten it to half. Now they know where he is. Position betrayed. Time is short. The defuse comes through. Sentinels get to 7.
Even when the round looks like it might be going EG's way, right? The anchors from Sentinels not finding so many kills. It doesn't matter. All the breaks just went Sen's way, whether it's that fight into Art where guys looking the wrong way, turns away, right when that swing comes in.
Bang getting 1, pushing ahead of the ult.
Man. And just solid in this post plant. Trying to spot out where that Astra is going to be coming in.
It's a second timeout called from Potter again into the last round of the first half.
Really think we need it for 1 round, huh? The money's not good. It's 4 light armors for EG, a couple 3 Bulldog or Guardians actually.
And I think the bigger thing for me is no ults.
No ults.
So it's not like you've got like, okay, we've got a plan. We're gonna chain util, we're gonna chain ults, and we're gonna secure the 5th round and keep it competitive at halftime.
Whereas Sentinels, they've got Steel Guard and they've got a Nightfall, so big, heavy-hitting retake ultimates. Usually what that means when you're attacking is you want to play slower rounds, you want to make it more disruptive. You don't want to go into a 5-on-5 retake, right? You want to try and whittle down the numbers earlier, but the way Sentinels have been playing so many rounds, if you play that style, then you're getting stalled out on your hit by those ultimates because Sentinels just aren't giving any opportunities for EG to have fair early fights.
All right, reminiscent of the Tether ult combo from a couple of rounds ago.
Exactly.
Outside of A, you're absolutely right.
I mean, even in that last round, Narrate hit a Tether that there was 1 more guy on site.
Yeah.
I think everyone in A is dying.
Yeah.
We'll see, because Sentinels might try to show a little bit more presence early on. Got maybe a Prowler working into this A main space, some salvos from John.
All missiles away.
What's the adjustment? Christy, this looks very similar to the other rounds on the other side of this timeout from the attack.
Well, I like that EG are pushing past this util now, but they're doubled up in Art. Oh, this is such a great setup for Sentinels.
High-low.
Beautiful.
Nature left with a brutal headache.
They show the presence in A main to pull EG into their stack in Art. Now they've got a Nightfall still and the numbers.
Trigger discipline. Not pulling it there.
And look at how Sentinels retreat as well, right? They go all the way out here after they showed an A main at the start of the round. Because again, they have the ultimates. So they can give A site. They can allow EG to plant spike. It doesn't actually matter. There's no way EG, outside of some monster performances, can actually survive against these ults.
And the only monster on EG who's been alive in the server's dead.
They've needed Ye to find the openers. But Nature has had some highlight moments as well. He's the one getting active into backside. It's not even icy. It is Nature going on the hunt with only 28 HP to his name.
Playing in the smoke. There's a Nightfall.
Spike planted.
That's the first one used. They try to spam through it, I guess. Maybe connect onto a kill, and that's exactly what happens. Icy falls. 3 left on the side of the attack. Yeah, they've gotten the spike down, but this does not look like it's getting any better for Evil Geniuses. As Sentinels are in full control. Keep a close eye on the minimap, though. Superman's going to be on this very late flank.
But no one's got guns!
And yeah, you're right. He's going to get tagged by the ult. Yes, he gets his kill on the narrate. What's going on there?
He's waiting for his gun. He's trying to stall as long as possible and have this insanely quick timing. 1 kill is all he can manage, though.
3v3. Spike has been ticking for a little while here. We're getting down to crunch time. Now the Cosmic Divide again. There's not a lot of time on this. They're going to have to fight this. Derek can fight ahead of it. Second's got to stick it all the way! The kills go through. The defuse does not.
Supa will keep EG in it going into the half. Only 2 rounds to separate them.
And we've got to talk about the kill that Nature got because it was just 1. But imagine, in that moment, you've already cleared all of that space. I mean, they walked through it, and then to have to go, wait a second, there's someone behind us?
Everyone's head just swivel on a dime.
Absolutely. Sorry, swivel on a dime.
Swivel on a dime.
Head on a swivel.
Head on a swivel, swivel on a dime.
Turn on a dime.
Quiet, Doug.
Brother.
We're going to a break.
Oof, I'm glad I'm the play-by-play. We're going to throw it to a quick break. We will be back on the other side of this. 7-5 for Sen City.
I just said that.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Let's talk about the state of Valorant right now. It really, as we look at Americas and we look at all the maps that have been played, almost every single map and across the board, it all leans pretty heavy attack side. So given utility, given refreshables, given everything that's been part of the conversation, heavy attack side, right? So you expect teams to struggle on defense, but for Evil Geniuses, the woes go beyond that. It's not like they're good in the pack, but their defense still struggles. They're in the lower third on their defensive win rate. They're going to have to find a way to convert here, Christy.
That is certainly the hope for them going into second half. Second halves all year have been a struggle for EG. And now it's just Derek looking towards 5 players. The hope is with a Yor and a Jet, maybe they have more options to find early picks. But even in this pistol, it's going to be a 5-on-5 retake for them.
Yeah, that gravity well kept them grounded for a little while. But not long enough. They've lost the sight. There's going to be a Vice Wall to cover the flank.
Now, Sentinels don't have a ton of util to work with in the post plant. Just a drone from John and that flash on site like mentioned. EG have a lot more to play for.
Boy, they are taking their time. I guess concerned about the aggro post plant like they saw in Haven. John QT swings into his death. Icy's there to greet him with open arms. But again, this fight has been taking for a little while. You imagine it's going to have to happen soon. Hello? And just as the go button's called, Sentinels erupt.
I feel like we just watched a minute and a half of Valorant, but only 2 seconds mattered.
Yep.
And in those 2 seconds, it's narrating what Bang, both finding 2 kills at the same exact time. Yeah, show me how that happened. Because it was even a 5v4.
Yeah, because Icy had gotten that pick early on, yeah.
Brutal. And I was going to say, like, for EG, the way you want to start off a half here, you want to win that pistol round, get an outlaw going. You want an operator in the hands of Icy, round 4 at latest.
Especially when it was a competitive first half, right? Like, it's not like you're praying for a miracle comeback. You're still in the fight, and that pistol does not help. I think we've discussed the EG and their defensive woes a fair amount. I think for Sentinels coming into this series, when they have won series, it's been a grind. Every single series win has gone 3 maps. Right?
Yeah.
They haven't had a clean 2-0. They took care of business the way people would expect them.
Sometimes map 3, like versus 100 Thieves, is taking care of business, but there's always that one map that gets them.
Yeah, and this, you know, for a team that's built to win championships, you expect them to be able to win the series that they should win in pretty decisive fashion. And so far, this looks like a turn of form for them.
It's been solid so far. This round, FPX by, letting the pistols go for a little bit of lurk action before finally finishing into Derek alone on this A site, calling in reinforcements. Yeah, he does have a Marshal.
He's already gotten a kill with it, too. Spike planted, though. Got a lot of A main presence.
Yeah, EG need at least 2 more kills here to deal real damage heading into the next.
Yeah, John does not have his missiles. Just now coming back up. And that should secure the post plant. I mean, any damage, okay. Any damage dealt will hurt, but again, Salvo's at the ready. And that should secure things.
Get one enemy remaining.
A couple of feel-good kills. Narek gets a little bit closer to his ult. He's now, what, 3 pips off?
I can count. Yep, that's 3, Doug. And they recover the 3 rifles, too. So solid work from Sentinels moving on in here. EG didn't go for any, you know, jet-saving shenanigans or stuff like that, so not going to be able to tap into an op early. That's going to be very good news for Sen. Because when you think about this comp, again, the Jet compared to the Neon, you have less retake tools in terms of like having the Neon stun to zip back onto a site. You're actually a little bit lighter in the util department. So EG want to bank on, you know, allowing Ye and Icy to get walk-ups, take strong fights, get picks early on, and then have advantage numbers going later into the rounds. Are you joking? That wasn't like a wall hack. I threw my haunt moment. He's just killing him through that without knowing.
As one does. He's up really far up too long.
Okay,
Crunch
Supa.
and, I mean, the spike is still sitting back in Swan, but Derek coming alive. Getting another kill onto Zelsis. What's the play here for Sentinels? They might just be getting picked apart. They didn't find an advantage really anywhere on the map other than the opener onto Ye.
We'll see how they pivot around John. He wants to call this round. He gets out.
By the skin of his teeth.
Narrate still got the spike in spawn. By John not seizing the gap into connector, it's now harder to accelerate towards A. And if John makes any noise, EG are going to be able to hone in on his location, no problem.
I mean, you imagine he's close by. You see the pings on the mini-map, just a little behind. This is big for John. He's got to deliver 8 bullets, connects onto the first. Reloads, and beautifully done. Narrate still has to pull a lot off, and he can't.
Okay.
All on to John now. 1v2.
I got the spike.
15 seconds left. No choice but to commit. Beautifully played there by Icy, not giving him the fight early on. Just let him commit to getting the plant down, and then get the easy kill and secure the round.
Yeah, Doug, that was no problem at all.
That was the easy kill, yeah.
I mean, you only need one player to stay alive anyways. Why'd you ever ask for any more than that? That kill at the start was kind of funny.
He did not think so.
I think big ups to Supa here, finding not 1 but 2 kills in streak.
Yeah.
Right? I think he's been a player that usually more reserved, but when his team is down in numbers, he'll take that active look. He'll take a timing. He'll go for a dry swing. Just kind of got his team back in the round there.
Interesting. Missiles early on towards A from the attack to push them off of taking the A main space from the defense.
Yeah, because Sentinels, they want to play for the Yor ultimate here eventually. They've also got the Tejo, so a lot of good tools to play on.
Yeah, he's up real close. Oh, he didn't guess the right side. Couldn't even TP out because he was suppressed. And now they're going to accelerate, popping the ult, the dimensional drift through. And the wall goes up, and unfortunately they're going to have to sit and watch for a little bit.
Is Zekin looking?
See what their duelist can do.
I'm back.
EG in a really tough spot to get this retake working. Icy's got a dash, try and break out of the choke, but there's so much utility being thrown into this angle.
And they're going to play for post. Look at him taking a big step back. Narrate has his ult. John has his ult. Of course, Narrate immediately invests his.
Just to stall out the hit.
And you still have the payload. I mean, you still got so much to play around here.
Oh, there's just more?
It's a slaughter. I mean, it's an absolute slaughter. Derek again is left in an unwinnable 1vx.
Sure, it might have cost Sentinels 3 ultimates, but that is just picture perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Just using the ultimates with only Zekin on site. And even Zekin has the teleport to jump back into long. So even in the event that, you know, he's not killing every single person, like that would have been fine. Zekin gets nothing there, it's no problem because still just the amount of time bought by those 2 ultimates, still having 4 players down long, at that point Supa's smokes are gone. It just wouldn't have even mattered. The plan was too good.
Missiles from the defense. they're not really taking A main. They're just spotting it.
Well, look at their guns, Doug. How are they gonna?
This isn't the first round they do that, though.
Yeah.
2 rounds ago, it was the same approach. They missile at the beginning, but then they slowly try to take A main, and sometimes they don't.
It's like this little feint of pressure
Right,
into
yes.
falling back and seeing if that might waste a little bit more of Sentinel's time. Maybe then they can punish on the off angles, Sheriff in Icy's hand. Because that's really all EG are doing right now. They're doubled up in street, playing the off angle on A with, you know, Derek sort of baiting out Icy in the corner. Maybe that's good for a kill, maybe 2. But not if Sentinels group together and do another solid hit.
Whoa. Avoiding that damage, but staying inserted.
Yeah, John has missiles coming up in 3 seconds, so I think he's going to try and use those to sell a fake before his team ends up committing into B. Maybe he doesn't even need to. Heard some footsteps in Art, the rest of the team scaled into B, so they can get the spike down, and then he's got the missiles as an extra layer of stall in the post.
Flash is out, Thorn's out, Star's down. The site is theirs.
It's going to be the same post plant, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Playing a little bit closer to play off of Zekin because they don't have the ultimates, but still options to fall into long, depending on how long EG take here.
If you're Evil Geniuses and you do decide to go for this, I mean, you kind of want to play around chaos. You want to try to inject a little mess into the situation, but I don't think they have the tools to do that.
I think they should try injecting hope before they work on the chaos part.
Well, hope came at the hands of Ye, at least for a little bit. There's no way out. They're just playing for exits.
Yeah, and even then, it's not going to make much of a dent in Sen Zcon.
No. There's still a little room for them to play out around as well. I mean, you're trying to get any advantage you can, but even those seem hard to come by.
All right, Doug.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on the hope here. I'm going to work on the hope for EG. Yeah, they're down 5. Yeah, Sentinels only need to win 2 rounds.
Right.
That's what I've got. No, I'm kidding. EG have a few ultimates to play with here, and Icy finally got the operator. Genuinely, we're finally going to see a look where EG can play around, you know, these contact agents, right? The Jet in the chamber, or the Jet in the Yoru, rather.
I wanted to
maybe find an opener.
Yeah, maybe.
Doesn't feel like you really believe, Doug.
You know, it's really not on me to believe or not, to be honest with you.
It's true. It's on Potter to believe. Coming in here, it's the last time out she's got. And again, EG have beautiful retake ultimates. So this round for them, it's all about putting Icy in a position where he can take that operator fight. Maybe they fight a little bit more aggressively for space on some side of that, but genuinely, they could also just play more relaxed, kind of like how Sentinels were on their defensive side. Remember, Sen were just using their ultimates to stall out and go for these delayed retakes.
Right.
EG can try very similar things, at least on this round, with the Yoru and the Astra available.
On the other side of the timeout, we'll see what the adjustments are. You mentioned it, an op online. We'll see where they choose to post up. We talked a little bit about how EG have been approaching the A main fight. Seems like that's where Icy will be.
Yeah, he's going to take the same angle as last round, but he can't really step into the space because John's been consistently using the drone to clear this one out. And that's a little harder because the invisibility to, you know, break for your teammate. So Icy's really got to be careful on this line.
Do you take this TP if you're Zekin?
With the Haunt and maybe a flash combo.
Or you fake it?
You fake it with that same combo, yeah.
Okay, so now there's a lot of a threat. There's a lot of fake pressure in A main right now from the attack.
The thing is, EG now used that drone and it's not really going to see anything. So great call from EG to spot that one out.
But at what cost? Then you don't have the drone for a retake if you lose the side or, you know, things like that.
But with drone not seeing the operator here, that is a big win for Evil Geniuses. Now, the loss for EG is that we're not actually going into Art from Sentinels. They're taking into Con through Street. And so much pressure now goes onto the sole anchor of this Vice, Nature, in what's about to become a 1v5.
8 and 14, all eyes on him. Has to deliver. It's going to have a little bit of util for the delay, and that's going to hurt. The Cosmic Divide not out. Again, he is on an island. They're going to have to push ahead of this. Rotations have come through, but there's really only one on the other side of the wall.
Send him some help!
Nicely done by Zek, and he was left on an island. Second Cosmic Divide now invested, quartering the map. Wants to call for the flood. The flash comes through. Narrate and Zekin
Enemy remaining.
holding the line. There's no way through. I mean, if you're Icy, maybe you try to save the op? I mean, what else? Oh.
That's the only shot he took this round. EG call a timeout. They bank everything on the op and playing the ults for retake. And yet the op doesn't find a kill because Sentinels call around that operator perfectly, right? They see the money, you know that that is going to be picked up from the other side. So they bait out the art attention, then pivot back into B.
Enemy remaining.
Somehow, Nature is stuck on backside.
This guy says hurt and he goes forward.
Right. Into the next we go. Ult popped immediately from Zekin. So he's going to get a lot of info on the presence here. Pops a flash.
That's 3 players.
Spotted, you're absolutely right.
Oh, man.
And he gets 2? They're fully sending this! I thought they'd back out, but Zekin with 3 kills, and now they can push the pedal to the metal. Now they can dig their heels in. And just like that, we talked about it. We wanted it to be clean from Sentinels, and that's exactly what it was. A 2-0 win over Evil Geniuses.